Hello, how are you? A lot of people out there want to know if microwaves actually cause cancer, if they destroy nutrients, if they make food radioactive. In this video, I'm going to explain to you scientifically what's behind microwaves, and I'll tell you about a mistake that 90% of people make every day when they press the start button, which can actually do a lot of harm and pose a real danger to your health and your family's health. You need to watch this video. Stay until the end. You won't want to miss it. Before we start, I want to ask you if you use a microwave, if you prefer an air fryer, if you like the conventional oven, or if you usually cook things on the stove in a frying pan. Tell me what you normally use to prepare your food. I'd love to see your comment. A lot of people get quite worried about microwaves because they hear the word radiation and immediately start thinking of nuclear power plants, right? Of dangerous ionizing radiation. So it causes a bit of panic for many people. Ionizing radiation, as a matter of fact, actually has more than enough energy to tear apart your DNA and cause dangerous cancerous mutations. This energy, this ionizing radiation, is actually what's present in X-rays, in radiotherapy, and even in nuclear waste. That's why when you go for an X-ray or a CT scan, you have to sign a form acknowledging that you'll be exposed to radiation. You have to say whether you've had the exam before or after, because this radiation accumulates, it can build up in our bodies. Microwave radiation is non-ionizing radiation. It's the same type of radiation as your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the cell phone signal that's around you all day long. It doesn't break cells or alter anyone's DNA. The thing is, the microwave oven actually emits high-frequency waves that make the water molecules inside your food vibrate at very high speeds. And it's the friction of these water molecules that generates the heat. The food that was heated up in the microwave does not absorb this radiation. It is not ionizing. So the food doesn't become radioactive and doesn't emit energy after the appliance is turned off. So believing that microwaves are harmful is the same as believing that a pan, once off the stove, will keep burning or catch fire on the table, you know? So it transfers thermal energy, but it doesn't cause any kind of nuclear contamination, okay? And here's a fun fact. The microwave oven was actually invented by accident when engineer Percy Spencer noticed that a chocolate bar in his pocket melted near a military radar. So because of that, he decided to research it further and ended up developing the microwave oven. Now, let's talk about the myth that microwaves make food less nutritious, which is something many people believe. A lot of people think that microwaves destroy vitamins and, in short, harm the nutritional quality of food. But actually, a traditional stove can destroy even more nutrients than a microwave. As a matter of fact, any cooking method that causes nutritional loss due to heat can lead to a loss of nutrients. However, the microwave cooks in much less time and almost without using any water at all. So vitamins like vitamin C and the B complex vitamins are water soluble, right? They dissolve in water. So when you boil a vegetable in a pot of water on the stove for 20 or 30 minutes and then pour that colored water down the drain, you're actually throwing away your nutrients. In the microwave, since you hardly use any water, the nutrients end up staying in the food. So in this way, the microwave can even help preserve some nutrients. Of course, we also have to consider the issue of protein denaturation, right? The proteins in eggs, chicken, meat undergo denaturation, which is simply a change in their physical form due to the action of heat. And the same thing happens when we bake, fry, boil food. It's not that this kills the food. In fact, it can even make digestion easier, at least in the case of proteins, right? It's really a matter of physics and thermodynamics. It won't alter the capacity or the nutritional quality of that food. There's a very common mistake people make when using the microwave in their daily lives, which has to do with the type of container they use to heat the food they're going to eat. Because the real danger of the microwave isn't in the appliance itself, but in what you put in there to heat up. When we actually store and heat food in low-quality plastic containers, even those that frequently claim to be microwave safe, which is a really interesting little detail that I'll explain the difference to you soon. The extreme heat of the microwave, which is really very intense and highly concentrated, stimulates the release of compounds like phthalates and bisphenol A, the much talked about BPA. And BPA is an endocrine disruptor that mimics some of our body's hormones, which can throw off our metabolism. So some people say this container here, it's okay, it can go in the microwave. That just means the container won't melt in the microwave, okay? It's safe in the sense that it won't become misshapen. But will it transfer those harmful compounds to your body? So when in doubt, the best thing is not to use plastic containers in the microwave. It's better to use glass, ceramic, or some type of material suitable for heating at high temperatures, something that won't dissolve, maybe even paper, but as long as it doesn't have plastic in its composition. Especially if the plastic is old, scratched, or torn. Sometimes you eat from the plastic, right? You use a knife and it tears at the bottom. Heating releases a lot of microplastic particles directly into the food. I recently made a video about microplastics, including how to eliminate them from your body. I'll leave it down below in the description for you. If you're enjoying the video, go ahead and leave your like. It's really important to me. And if you know someone who has questions about microwaves, share the video with them too. Let's expand our chain of kindness. Furthermore, the microwave also poses another health risk related directly to the way it heats food. The microwave doesn't heat food evenly, right? We notice when we take food out of the microwave that it creates some very hot spots and sometimes pockets that are still frozen or very cold. So, if you just heat the outside without stirring, without covering, without putting a lid on the food, you might leave the center or some parts cold, undercooked, or not properly reheated. And if there were pathogenic bacteria there, they can survive and multiply when the food is at room temperature, which is an ideal temperature for bacterial growth. So ideally, to actually ensure proper biological safety when using the microwave to cook or reheat food, you should really stop the whole process halfway through, stir it, turn it over, and check if everything inside is thoroughly steaming hot. There are microwave covers that help retain moisture and heat and also keep the microwave clean, because depending on the food, it can get messy. And these covers can also be a great ally. The main thing is to make sure the center is really hot and never just lukewarm, right? If the food is poorly heated, there can be bacterial growth. I'll leave you with 2 more useful tips here about using the microwave in a practical way in your daily routine. The first is heating up eggs. Eggs are a very delicate food because you should never use eggs with shells in the microwave. They can explode, they will explode, and they can seriously hurt you, explode in your face, or anyway, inside the microwave, make a mess, a real hassle to clean up. But if you put a whole boiled egg in, some people cook eggs and then heat them up in the microwave. It can definitely explode because it builds up high pressure inside. And sometimes the egg doesn't even explode while it's in the microwave. But when you stick a fork in it, that pressure is released and it can explode right in your face. So it's very dangerous. What you can do if you want to, for example, make a microwave fried egg, which is actually what I do, is crack the egg into a container, poke the yolk several times with a fork, and then cook it for about a minute. And that way, since there's no membrane there, there's no risk of explosion. Or you can beat the egg and mix it with a little milk, kind of like making scrambled eggs. That can work well for you too. Another tip I like to give is about heating food in the microwave, because a lot of people like the microwave since it's convenient and fast. But since it dehydrates, it can sometimes leave the food with a rubbery texture. Limp, actually hardened, dried out. So you can place a glass of water next to the plate of food you're going to heat up, especially if it's a carbohydrate-based food like rice, pasta, or a pizza you want to reheat that you made at home. Then the microwave will evaporate that water first, creating a chamber of moist steam inside the microwave and will return moisture to the food. This way, the food becomes more palatable, more pleasant, and also has a more interesting texture for consumption. A very dangerous and unfortunately very common mistake is people trying to boil water in the microwave to make coffee or tea. And it's very complicated because since the molecular agitation is sometimes different, people might put a cup of water in the microwave for 2 or 3 minutes with nothing inside. It might not look like it's boiling, but when you go to stir the mug or put a spoon inside, once again, it explodes, it bursts. So be very careful with liquids heated in the microwave. Ideally, you should heat it in 30-second intervals to check if it's already at the right temperature, and be extremely careful when stirring so it doesn't splash onto your face. If you enjoy this kind of video, where we debunk common myths and misconceptions, and if you like learning practical tips about everyday foods and household items, go ahead and share this video with anyone who could benefit from this information. It really helps more people make informed, healthier choices. Let's expand our chain of kindness. Remember to leave your like on the video. It's very important to me. And also remember to subscribe to the channel, okay? I have new videos every day. You'll definitely love them. Also, just adding a note here that I have lots of microwave recipes on the channel. I use the microwave a lot to prepare my dishes, like bread, cakes, sweet treats, because it's practical. So I'll leave a playlist of microwave recipes to inspire you as well. See you next time. Bye.